We're lucky to be in the city.
Book to movie adaptation? That's a narrating.
Candor value honesty and order. They tell the truth.
Ironically, this seems like a completely subjective faction to find oneself in. How do you grade someone's truth-telling skills? Do they line up a whole bunch of cliche 1980s sitcom moms and ask if this dress makes them look fat?
We even feed the factionless.
Futuristic society has evolved the word homeless into factionless.
Trust the test. Test will tell me who I am.
We interrupt this Hunger Games ripoff to bring you the Sorting Hat ceremony from Harry Potter.
Am I smart? Kind? Am I honest? Selfless?
This word only kind of means selfless if you're reaching a bit. Aren't there dictionaries in the future? They should have called the Dauntless faction dicks. Dauntless or daunted by doors fail the test immediately.
It is your right, tomorrow, at the choosing ceremony, to choose any of the 5 factions.
Including the truth-telling one? Even if you're the worst lying liar in Lieville? What society says we're gonna break you up into factions because it works? Now, f*** it. You can be whatever you want, even if it's wrong. So wait, there's a technician for every single person getting tested right now? That's an amazing ratio. And what faction are the technicians in? Shailene Woodley is once again not playing Mary Jane Watson in this movie. Wow, I didn't read the books, so I wasn't sure what to expect when people said it was kind of a Hunger Games ripoff, but Jesus, she is literally running after a rabid dog in order to save Katniss's little sister right now. Is this a crossover by chance?
What was my result? Abnegation, and erudite, and dauntless.
But not truthful enough to be in candor, you lying whore.
Not impossible. It's just extremely rare.
So it's extremely rare for anyone to show more than one trait? These people are human, right?
They call it Divergent.
Roll credits.
You can't tell anyone about this.
But I'm freely telling you this for some reason because there's no way a Divergent kid like you is going to go telling people about your abilities and showing them off in any way. If you explain the danger to her and manually entered a false result for her test, then why do you have to rush her out the back again?
Erudite. They believe that they should be the governing faction, not us.
Well, they have an argument, right? I mean, sure, you're the generous, caring type here in Abnegation, but they're way smarter and more logical than you, right? It's at least not an open and shut case that you guys should be doing the ruling. Honestly, I'm kind of wondering how you Abnegation folk ever came to power anyway. How did you put yourself away from feeding homeless people enough to pry the government away from the cops and Dauntless? Triss looks at her reflection in the spoon, which symbolizes her non-abnegationness, but I choose to believe there is no spoon.
But you don't really want that.
This is the first inkling of defiance in this chick. Up until now, she's been quiet, cautious, downright sheepish. Today, though, she's a back-talking little scamp. Holy shit, they're doing this one by one? I hope these kids brought an iPhone that lasts 24 hours. The choosing ceremony is a dick to the guy that has to sanitize this knife after every choice. We saw her brother choose the water one with his blood drop, and Beatrice goes right after him. So, do they swap out the bowls for each choice too? There's no blood in any of these things, but the ceremony's been going on long enough that they should all be covered in disgusting blood stains. Now that she's with Dauntless, how will she ever find a seat for the remaining 127 hours of this ceremony? Okay, so this Dauntless dude gives up his seat, so how will he ever find a seat for the remaining 127 hours of this ceremony? Wow, this ragtag bunch of kids aren't deterred by anything. They're fearless. They're basically dauntless. Oh, wait, is this all these Dauntless people do? Run and climb on shit? Because how does that help society?
We made it.
The inclusion of a Kravitz proves this movie is in no way trying to avoid Hunger Games comparisons.
Get ready!
Get ready is a pretty useless piece of information if you aren't also going to tell us what to get ready for. Like, get ready to jump or get ready to have a dance party.
Together?
Man, this train is taking forever to pass this building. They've wasted so much time they should have missed their chance, but plot, I guess.
If you want to enter Dauntless, this is the way in.
So, they're not already dauntless? They have to choose a faction, potentially alienate their parents, and then jump off a moving train, but that's not fearless enough for you people? Also, what kind of test do the other factions give their new recruits? Do they all have secondary tests? In Candor, are they like, what is your favorite color? Red, no, yellow, ah!
We just jumped. They want us to jump again.
My thoughts exactly, but having a character in the movie say it doesn't mean it erases the sin. After the first one jumps, this shouldn't be nearly the daunting task they've set this up to be, right?
My name's 4.
Fuck. You mean we're gonna have to go through all that I am number 4 bullshit again?
The first lesson you learn from me is keep your mouth shut.
In other words, when you join Dauntless, it's time to be daunted when it comes to running your mouth. Dauntless has a mysterious system of integrating new recruits so that we, the audience, can avoid learning shit too early. Dauntless faction takes their name way too seriously and extends its symbolism to the f***ing bathroom. Scene does not contain nudity, lap dances, or reason to live.
Were you a transfer too? Or Dauntless born?
What makes you think you can talk to me?
Because you're sitting in the cafeteria with your subordinates? Also, if this is supposed to be some sort of military, these assholes have done a poor job explaining the rules to the new recruits.
We believe in ordinary acts of bravery, in the courage that drives one person to stand up for another.
But we act like assholes to each other for some reason. Welcome to the faction crowd surfing.
I want everyone in the pit. 2 minutes.
2 minutes is not enough time to do anything, let alone wake up. Also, new rules, guys whispering to each other, main character is Divergent and she shouldn't say anything about it. Can't we go ahead and expose the Hunger Games catching fire portion of this story? It'll save us so many trips to the movie theater. Sweating! Running! You know, a lesser man would make a catfight reference here. Is this where the other failed Dauntless go? To become tattoo artists? How convenient for Beatrice that the medical woman who performed her test and saved her life mysteriously is also a tattoo artist by night.
Society. If you don't fit into a category, they can't control you.
I don't get it.
Yeah, you and me both, babe. This challenge to a character played by a somewhat named actress means that she will easily pass this test with flying colors, and there's no suspense at all.
Time.
Time? What, was that a moment of silence or something? I'm gonna guess that most people could have hung there for the time she did.
Do you know?
Let's just say they built the fence for a reason.
Character is vague about the danger outside the fence because the movie needs to keep the audience in the dark. Also, Game of Thrones much?
We're kind of good at this.
For some reason.
Well, go get it.
But while they're throwing?
Are you afraid? Everybody stop. Stand in front of the target.
Just cut this asshole already if you think he can't hack it. Why on earth would Dauntless set up their training this way? It's fucking preposterous. Just cut the slackers and train the others like regular modern soldiers do training. Shit. What about the future requires the training of cops to be overly emasculating and legitimately deadly? Are Marcus and the other local faction leadership aware that the entire Dauntless faction has essentially devolved into a sadistic magic show? Are those Mockingjays?
Hey, Triss. That was cool.
Now we're robbing Harry Potter for the dickhead kid mocks protagonist regarding newspaper articles and rumors about them shit. This book may be fantastic, I'll never know, but the movie is about as original as a forgery. Isn't 4 actually endangering Triss more by so obviously giving her special treatment and advice in front of everyone else, and in front of the asshole guy? Well, I don't want to piss anyone off, at least not any more than normal, so, ladies of the audience, I ask you, is this society feminist or sexist? It's not like she has a chance against someone who is as much faster and stronger as basically any average male initiate would be, so it's not fair, but it's equal. Right? Train never makes any increases in acceleration and is easily tracked down by a coma patient because Divergent.
The game's simple. It's like capture the flag.
Movie turns into Unreal Tournament, which isn't a sin except for the fact that this movie won't let me play.
I'll take the stiff.
Oh, picking the weak ones. You got someone to blame when you lose.
Or he just wants to f her. Are you paying attention to anything? Also, an hour into the movie and we're still just playing games.
Trying to get a good vantage point.
Good thinking.
No one else thought of this? I am seriously beginning to doubt the efficacy of Dauntless's current training program. Sexy ladder break.
You're afraid of heights.
They were up on that f***ing high-ass fence just a little bit ago, and he didn't show any signs of trouble then. Meanwhile, all other ladder rungs are sturdy as shit. I guess we can't fault the ladder for playing f***ing Cupid just this once. It rarely gets to see people anymore. Oh, I think they might kiss. Meanwhile, all the rest of 4 squad of inexperienced initiates is just standing down there doing nothing. Or watching these two. And Eric's squad isn't doing any attacking or anything.
Tell me if this hurts.
Futuristic assholes still haven't learned a thing and still say stuff before shooting people. Wait, this game really is Capture the Flag? So why did 4 tell everyone
It's like capture the flag.
when it's actually Capture the Flag? Not telling new recruits about all the crazy twists and turns in this zipline and telling them to pull the brake at the end without telling them what the end looks like? Yep, Dauntless continue to be dicks. Movie's concept of time is really beginning to piss me off. I guess this person is calling a secret meeting. What better way to do that than shining a f***ing mirror everyone can see? Also, of course nobody sees this because in movies no one has peripheral vision, and everyone is completely focused on their mindless tasks. Also, all supervisors decide to look the other way as one of their own walks behind a wall of pallets. What is this place? What's in these sacks? Do you care? No, of course not. We just need to let her have some weirdo conversation with her mom.
Are you Dauntless?
Listen.
The guard somehow doesn't see Triss's mom when he comes around the corner. Basically, that's the movie telling us that the guard yelled hey before he even got around the corner, which is not only stupid, but hilarious. Fortunately for Triss, the person administering the fear test that will likely reveal her true divergent nature is the dude that has already shown her tons of favoritism. He's touched her awkwardly more times than I can count now. We get it, they're gonna bone. Let's get to that already.
You're gonna be facing your worst fears, Triss.
We interrupt this f***ing Frankenstein of a cliche-ridden movie to bring you the face your worst fear thing from, Jesus, I don't know, at least a dozen better films that came out before this one. Oh, this movie really is Hunger Games. Triss's first worst fear is dive-bombing birds. I guess Abnegation Faction decided to show the birds to the young children. Shouldn't her worst fear hallucination basically be her in a public square wearing an I'm a Divergent t-shirt?
I just want to know how she does it. What's your trick?
Everyone in this movie knows what Divergent means, but can't quite seem to come out and say it, or suggest or suspect that she might be Divergent.
Dauntless don't break the glass like that.
Isn't what he's trying to say, nobody breaks the glass like that? What does it matter if Dauntless don't break the glass this way? By her own admission, she's not Dauntless. She defected. So what does this statement really prove? Tattoo mystery woman who was either not willing to talk or super nervous about it both prior appearances has given up the ghost and is now willing to just calmly tell Triss all the helpful information she knows. Why? Because the story is ready for her to. That's why.
You think that human nature is a weakness?
Girl who knows that standing out and challenging authority is the fastest way to getting her divergentness discovered keeps standing out by challenging authority.
I think human nature is the enemy.
So Christianity without the God, then?
You're aware that abnegation is undermining the faction system. They're breaking laws, harboring divergence.
Why the f*** is evil Kate Winslet telling her all this? Why does she believe Triss is in any way special or in a position to help her? On the other hand, if she knows or suspects that Triss is Divergent, why bother telling her all this and then letting her go? 3 dudes who had no trouble bringing her here suddenly don't have the power to throw her into the pit of death. Oh, come on, she can pull the guy's mask off and stare dramatically into his eyes, but still not get thrown into the pit by these other 2 people? Quatuor ex machina.
Can't believe Al.
Wait, so attempted murders amongst initiates are tolerated?
You should lie down, get some sleep. I'll take the floor.
We definitely don't need to report the fact that several of your fellow initiates just tried to kill you.
He was not gonna pass that final test.
Neither am I.
Why do you say that?
This guy is either the densest motherfucker in history, or else he's known she's Divergent all this time and just refuses to talk about it because the screenwriter forbade him. Either way, it's a sin because I'm sick of it.
You're gonna practice.
In my fair landscape?
No. In mine. We're going together.
Divergenception. Also, Fear Landscape. And this movie is one I Am Your Father revelation away from literally being the most cliche movie I've ever seen.
Marcus had a son. 4 fears?
Man, that is one of the least satisfying and arbitrary origin stories for someone's fake name I've ever heard. If they were truly dauntless, they'd right now. Or at least strip.
I don't want to go too fast.
Yeah, going too fast is what those Amity sluts do.
Come on, I'm gonna show you something.
Hey, that's exactly what he said to get her into the bed.
If I'm too good, then they'll kill me, and if I'm too slow, then I'll die.
Right.
But don't worry, you've practiced this one time, with me, in a simulation that is not going to be the one you're about to do now. So you should pass with flying colors.
Good luck, Triss.
Oh look, the city of Chicago, otherwise known as Coincidental Timing City, has once again brought this tattoo artist and Triss together. Are they testing every single initiate of every single faction one at a time like this? Even if it's only every single Dauntless initiate, this process would take ages. Like, longer than that bullshit choosing ceremony even. Why can't they see more than this? Isn't this a program of some sort? Where the whole area is mapped out? Wouldn't they be able to see everything and not just this camera angle shot in high dreaminition? How is this even a final exam? This is the exact same simulation. If you practice this over and over, which apparently these recruits do, then this would be no challenge at all. Even if the goal is to figure out if they're Divergent, why not make the simulation a surprise?
What are we doing? Divergent.
How did that asshole pass the Dauntless test? Did he have someone dreamy holding his hand through the whole process like Triss? And if so, why is he so dumb? It's probably the convenience he gives to the plot, is my guess. Is this what Snowpiercer would be like if we got to see it from the other side's point of view? Oh man, I hope she didn't get caught. Even though she and the audience have already been informed that these people are just drones now and don't process information like they used to, and there's no danger or suspense at all. This We're Both Scared moment brought to you by the Committee for Making Movies Longer Than They Need to Be.
I think you might be overestimating my character.
What is your character, exactly?
Abnegation, if left unchecked, will destroy the faction system.
Then kill them already!
We will restore the peace, and this time it will last.
You haven't shown me one fucking scene of civil unrest or anything opposite of peace among these citizens for this entire movie. Yep, he's an insubordinate, no-good, dirty Divergent. Better punch him instead of shooting him. That's what I say. Yeah, let's do this in a private place. There's no need to make this public, even though all the executions so far have been public. The irony is that by trying to build suspense in this way, you basically do the opposite. Instead of shooting her right away, which would make the most sense, these idiots take their sweet time, because protagonist. And because they took f***ing 20 seconds to not shoot her, Mommy's bullets get to save the day. Good thing they decided to try and execute her here instead of in front of the houses, or else Triss would be f***ed. Also, those dudes must have been Louisville Cardinal fans. All of these guys got done masturbating and decided to finally show up after their buddies got shot. Thank goodness for Triss that Will is a stormtrooper. Honestly, how did he score high enough to make Dauntless with aim this terrible? Triss kills Will, one guy, and suddenly the coast is clear. Oh no, her mother's not gonna die, is she? Killers can't hear Triss crying about her mom and don't go in for the all-too-easy kill. And what the f*** are they shooting at, anyway?
What now?
You're not gonna like it.
You're not gonna like it, cliche. Thankfully, the movie makes sure one of the random Dauntless guys she comes across happens to be the asshole from her initiate class. Movie really wants Triss to have dead parents. You know it's climax time because the mind-controlling sim machine and all the characters are all in the same room.
The brilliance of the faction system is that conformity to the faction removes the threat of anyone exercising their independent will.
Well, except for you, right? How do any of the people following her take her seriously?
Divergents threaten that system.
Good God, the total lack of killing Triss and massive amounts of exposition being given at the end of this movie is f***ing exhausting. Oh, she's gonna talk him out of it now. I know you're in there, Four. What is he, Doc Ock? Four breaks out of his simulation brainwashing because the power of boners is stronger. Okay, so there are 4 other people in this room. After this one shot, he should be riddled with bullets, right? Right? After running out of bullets, 4 gets lucky and everyone else in the building suddenly doesn't have a gun. Right, the security cam cuts directly to Triss's former best friend right in this moment. Of course it does.
I admire you willing to die for what you believe, but so am I.
Make out with her already! Oh snap, now Triss is gonna have to show these people a world without robots. A world without rules and controls. Without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible.
Don't get me wrong, there's a certain beauty to your resistance.
Fucking Protagonist repeats words previously spoken to them, only this time with irony cliche. And these are words Janine just f***ing said 5 minutes ago. And this is where you realize this is going to end on a cliffhanger, making it no better than an episode of MacGyver.
My mom and dad died today.
I know.
How do you know? You woke up from your brainwashing, kicked some ass, and then started running. You couldn't possibly know this.
No, we have nothing. No home, no faction.
Well, there's always District 13. Wait.
I know exactly who you are.
Oh, good. Could you fill us in?
But we found ourselves and each other.
Narration again, just like in the opening minute and now. No narration whatsoever in between. Perfection. This movie would have made a great intro. Instead, we get, 3 or 4 books in this bloated mess of a series? I guess that means a total of 5 more movies then, right? 41 seconds of ripped-off Matrix logos.
Peace.
I'm already exhausted. The jumpiness of this futuristic video editing will serve as symbolism for the jumpy unstableness of said future's government. Wait a minute, this is playing on specially made screens on tanks? For whom? And it's somebody's duty to take a hologram-generating doodad and place it somewhere randomly, just in case the tank campaign misses a few people, which I'm going to guess is everyone.
Tell Janine we got it.
Oh, good. An artifact of great importance of some sort.
The vast wall that encloses this city may protect us from our toxic surroundings.
How? You built that wall to keep out toxic shit? Do you even science?
It's up to us to confront any element that could poison us from within.
Like, you? I'm honestly surprised you're still here. I thought you got stabbed or some shit in the last movie, though I'll admit to a certain level of detached attention. Holy shit, this thing is on buildings too, but why just these 2? So this is either Twilight or Hunger Games, I can't remember. Birds flying away to signal something ominous cliche. Wait, I remember what this is. It's Maze Runner, isn't it? I was just sitting here thinking, this movie is so much like every other movie, what it really needs is a dream sequence to hammer that home. Yep, no room for 3 more small bodies on this floor. Better hang precariously in the air while you sleep, slackers. Insurgent remembers the last movie in bits and pieces, just like real life. Okay, 6 minutes in, and so far we've seen a bullshit dream and a mommy flashback. Cutting off hair to symbolize some kind of personal metamorphosis combined with the birds flying away to signify something ominous cliche. 2 cliches in one. It's a touche. Plus, since we already saw the bird cliche earlier, did someone make a change to the Matrix? I like how every other piece of this obvious highway overpass is gone, or has sprouted grass and shit, except for this huge half-assed base piece. What did the future do to obliterate everything except half of this support section?
I just wanted to do something different.
Movie did not.
We're good. You and me. I know nothing else is, but we are.
We skipped a couple weeks between films, so clearly they're already deeply in love.
Time for chores.
Ironically, one of those chores is watching Insurgent.
How much longer do we have to stay here for?
Until we know it's safe to leave.
So begins the movie's constant shuffling of hideout locations, beginning with Amity.
She died trying to hide something from Janine, something that was entrusted to abnegation a long time
Stop.
ago.
Because you're an asshole, we can't possibly listen to this important information until at least the next movie.
I'm not the enemy here.
But then who is the enemy? Oh. Also, real subtle, Mr. Director. Real subtle.
However, only a Divergent can open this box.
Well, isn't that convenient/inconvenient?
Find them. Every last one of them.
First off, isn't that what you're trying to do anyway? Second off, if you find every last one of them, why do you need this stupid box? Can't you just execute them all at once without some sort of magic hullabaloo voodoo?
I really don't know how much longer I can do this whole peace and love thing.
Well, talking about it this openly in the Amity lunch line is surely a good idea. Also, why is the cafeteria Thunderdome?
I'll stay with Caleb so that you don't get him killed too.
Miles Teller manages to play a character that 100% reflects the rumored character of Miles Teller the actor.
Like you did your parents.
We need to keep our cover here, but okay, let's do something that will surely get us kicked out way before we're ready to leave.
What do you think you're doing?
Tragic waste of Octavia Spencer.
My office. Now.
Man, I'll bet they'll have to write "I will not fight" like 100 times on the chalkboard after this.
Was I not clear that the terms of your sanctuary here included nonviolence?
Probably, but who takes that kind of thing seriously?
One more chance. See, to be Amity is to forgive others and yourself.
Hence the only one more chance thing. Hence the total forgiveness. I'm sending conflicting messages here, aren't I? Almost as soon as it occurs to everyone to look out the window, the tanks show up on cue, and just in time to prove Triss right about it not being safe here.
New screening technology from Erudite.
Sudden Divergent detecting technology is sudden. Also, they went from no f***ing clue how to tell to super handy clan determination machines in about 3 months. Jesus. Seriously, where were these things the last movie?
What's up there?
Just my office.
Just my office, where I happened to bring all the fugitives just before you crashed through the village. In a way, that asshole Miles Teller is the hero of this movie so far.
Hey, they're up here! Hey! Go! Hey!
Jesus, 100% dick character somehow achieves 130% dick level, which is actually impossible. These dumbass guards. Also, sure, let's not have any other guards anywhere except this one building, and use 2 total. They literally could have been anywhere besides here or the Thunderdome and easily escaped.
Over there!
But there's no reason to run outside the dome to try and catch them. Let's try to shoot them from here. It's more challenging that way. Movie rips off the part 1 from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Listen! What?
Train is on the Save the Heroes schedule. These heroes are now running through open ground, but 50 bad guys trained in shooting things will miss them completely. Yeah, no, he's dead. And he's clearly going to land inside the second track here, but through editing it will make it look like he's Mike Powell. The ironic thing here is those bullets probably hit something. Holy shit, I was just kidding! How long were these assholes gonna hide back here before they decided to attack the people who just jumped on? So, 2 people, just because they're dauntless, can take on an entire factionless army. Okay, and when we return, suddenly there's like 3 factionless people, when there were 50 before. So I guess on the first day they shot this, they had plenty of extras, then the next day only 3 showed up. Caleb is frozen while his sister is attacked, which means no matter what Caleb's choice of side in this weird-ass war is, he's still a terrible f***ing brother. Where did these assholes come from?
Tobias Eaton. Well, you know him? I am him.
Magic code word name Ex Machina.
How do they know your name?
Can't say right now. Wait for the dramatic reveal, baby. Underground group of freedom fighters are gonna save the day cliché. Oh man, they dragged Naomi Watts into this, didn't they?
Tobias.
Mother.
I sure am glad they established what kind of relationship they have. Surely nothing in the following events will clue us into that. Also, are you saying this chick is his mother despite looking younger than him? On her plate, apple quarters, asparagus, carrot sticks, and red onion? Where's the goddamn broccoli?
I'm still your mother.
No, my mother's dead.
Then why did you so easily call her mother a minute ago if you're just going to refuse that she's your mother now? Were you overwhelmed by the drama and exposition?
We're both a threat to Janine.
I have no idea what's going on. Is it because I have a tragic memory loss, or because this movie is exactly that forgettable?
If we were to combine forces, dauntless and factionless, we'd be unstoppable.
That sounds pretty made up. Are you talking about pure numbers or actual trained soldiers? Are you just bragging and making up? Because I think you are.
Tobias, please reconsider.
Well, that seems like a reasonable reaction.
I should have told you about her.
Did you have time? You guys have been dating for like 3 days, right? And most of that time's been spent running around and in dream sequences.
You hardly even know him.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
Skip! This dream makes me angry. Insurgent, The Last of Us. Everyone just act natural. There is not a green screen behind you, but a dystopian wasteland. Do not visually think about your characters as 2-dimensional paper cutouts, because that will threaten their 1-dimensional nature.
Have you heard anything about Will?
You mean, did I kill him last movie? No.
Something must have happened to him. He would have found me by now, you know?
Well, I certainly didn't kill him. Jesus, get off my fucking back already, would you? First off, why do wanted fugitives, Triss and 4, think they can just walk into any public place without any kind of precautions whatsoever? Second off, why didn't their buddy Tori think, there might be some people who aren't so keen on seeing Fortress walk around in public like this. I might want to take them somewhere safe. I would like everyone to know that if holograms ever become a thing, I give up. If I'm watching TV or using my computer and the screen is a hologram, somebody's likely framing me for murder.
And would you say that a trial held here at Candor would be inherently more fair than a trial held by Erudite?
Sure, but how does Candor hold a trial on their own without the Council's blessing? You were all about the rules earlier, but now because 4 has appealed to your ego, you can just whip up a trial willy-nilly? Hey guys, don't mind me. I'm just being Zoe Kravitz on the other side of this glass. Candor trials are hosted on the set of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Thank you for your candor.
It was truly dauntless.
Will. I killed Will.
Everyone knows Will, right? There's only one Will.
This is what happens. The people, when they get close to me, they get hurt or they die.
What? Your parents died last movie as a direct result of your actions, and not because of fate. Your brother and boyfriend, however, are both still alive and kicking, and presumably close to you.
I told you that I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, like briefly as you were walking down the hall on the way to the trial. You didn't really have a discussion or a reason or any real protest, so f*** you. So is this gonna be a thing? For real? Were Will and Christina even an item in the first movie? Did I miss that? I mean, nobody cares, right? What the f*** is this shit? Are you telling me those 6 wires are not only injecting her with body-jerking somethings, but are also collectively holding her up in the air above ground? Because no.
I'm assuming that all divergents are the same.
No, you haven't. That was the 6th test subject who died. You obviously thought each one of them would be different, or else you wouldn't have ran 6 tests. Am I missing something here?
I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes I think I see lights out beyond the wall.
That sounds totally crazy. Dystopian futures rarely ever have surprising life outside their own reality. With a huge surprise advantage, bad guys decide to shoot grappling hooks instead of shooting Triss, who is an easy target. 500 people are shooting at Triss and they can't even hit her accidentally. Thankfully, in all movies, there is an axe just inside the door you wish to bar, which just happens to have a convenient slot for axes instead of those push bars like nearly every exit door in the world has. What? The star of the movie is still alive? I sure is lucky this little girl didn't get curious about all the commotion until way after those guys came through and did their checks.
Why are we the only ones awake?
Because we're Divergent.
Why don't the people attacking the compound right now have those little hologram identification things we saw earlier in Thunderdome? Those would have come in handy, as they walked right past Triss earlier like, any world where someone can fake sleep is one I don't want to live in.
It's really good to see you again.
Jai Courtney continues to Jai Courtney these movies with his Jai Courtney-ness. Oh, there it is! It's almost like that entire action scene earlier meant absolutely nothing, since we're in the exact place we could have been 4 minutes ago. Well, at least that guy shared his thoughts about there possibly being life beyond the wall before he got shot. Movie that has no intention of killing Triss this early in the series tries to earn legitimate dramatic tension for the viewer via sudden headshot assassination. Nope. And the suspense of this scene is completely destroyed since there's no way they would allow killing a kid in this movie. Also, let's take a look at 20 seconds ago, shall we? This is how far Triss is away from the kid. There's a bunch of bad guys with guns in the background, and somehow she was able to get up, run, and save the kid. This kick definitely broke some ribs, except this is Hollywood, so never mind.
Divergent, 100%.
By the way, since when do these things tabulate the percentage of how much divergence you have? Earlier, this happened.
Divergent.
I got one.
She's what we've been looking for.
Bullshit.
White guy thinks he can operate the hologram thingy better than the black guy can.
Get her in a vehicle. I'll alert Janine.
Why? Is there some reason you need to go ahead of your team to alert Janine about someone you've just taken prisoner? And why can't you just make a phone call? It's because of the plot, isn't it? 4 is allowed to attack this asshole while no one does a goddamn thing.
It's lucky you got that gun for. Now we both know you're never much without one.
Somehow, this baits 4 into a fistfight with Eric, because that's constructive.
You're responsible for the death of hundreds of people.
How does 4 know about Terminator Genesis? And how does he know Jai Courtney is responsible? 4 kills the Jai Courtney character, and no matter how much I hate these movies, I am incapable of not taking a sin off for that. And killing this guy leaves the cleanest floor I've ever seen in such a situation. Not that I know firsthand. Or do I?
She's still off the grid?
Yeah, but I think I found a solution.
And he just happens to be walking up to us at this very minute. Also, earlier you told Eric you were going to alert Janine about Triss. Who told you about what happened after that? How do you know she escaped? In your mind, isn't Triss captured and on her way here? The solution to get Triss to surrender? Control the minds of 3 people and get them to slowly commit suicide in an easily savable situation, instead of like 50 and quicker. Also, why not get all of the people you shot with the sim serum to gang up on Triss and take her prisoner? Why not do it while she's asleep? There seem to be, sorry, typing in some formulas here, 8,589 better ways to get Triss than this.
Hand over Triss Pryor.
Well, we know the kid isn't dying, and Zoe Kravitz isn't dying, so goodbye, blonde chick. You shouldn't have picked the middle. Jesus, 4 didn't even try to catch this chick. Are we sure 4 isn't the bad guy? But wait, if people can be controlled by the tiny silver things embedded in their skin, why didn't the bosses just control Triss herself, who also has one in her skin? Yeah, she didn't go to sleep because she's divergent, but the mind control doesn't work either? How inconvenient.
Marlene. Her name was Marlene.
Let me see. No, that still doesn't make me care.
This tendril wraps around the nearest major artery. Try to remove them, and they kill the host.
So how hasn't Janine already won this damn war? She's got mind-controlling silver bullet things, magic tendrils, goddamn homing beacons, and what the actual Janine?
Nobody knows about this alliance. We have to protect that advantage.
This entire movie so far is over an hour of running and hiding, almost as though they were just trying to buy time until the 3rd movie. For a movie with a strong female protagonist at its center, there sure is a lot of dick measuring in this.
I love you.
Triss decides not to tell 4 about her terminal cancer diagnosis. Wait, man, that near triple suicide got me hot. Wanted character who a bunch of people want to protect sneaks away at night to turn herself in to protect said loved ones cliche. How did 4's mom know to be looking out the window right now?
Triss left. She's gone.
And somehow a trained soldier like me didn't hear her get up, walk around, get dressed, and walk out. This guy thinks he can go to headquarters by himself and save Triss.
Need you to open up that box, Triss.
Triss asks no questions about how the box is opened, but it takes a full, agonizing 6 seconds for Peter, who is expectantly holding a gun, to explain.
Remarkable. Chances of it being you, of all people.
Remarkable as the amount of people you've managed to murder.
Jesus, this line. God damn it. Does anyone know how to operate guns in these movies? This is clearly going to end up badly for Peter because he doesn't know there's such things as distance.
Stop the suicides or I swear I will shoot him.
Triss, who just said that terrible line about it being remarkable how many people Janine has managed to murder, thinks that this one asshole is going to get her out of this.
I'm guessing you need to be alive for this to work.
Movie rips off the threatened suicide from Hunger Games.
Hey, Triss.
Discount Fredo Corleone. Ah, I see the production designer saw Minority Report and Matrix Revolutions, multiple times each. Future technology has no better way to do this. Simulation tests that last movie just had her strapped to a chair will now require her to be connected to a dozen snake-bot Doc Ock arms that lift her into the air. Divergent simulation steals the plot of Up. Thank goodness for Dreaming Trish, she has this super long rooftop to gain speed for her jump back up to the burning floating house. Did I just say those words together in a sentence? Because that's kind of weird, right? You see how this rope is out of her reach here? There is now nothing she can do to get herself any closer to it. Yet she still finds a way to grab the rope. Is this a simulation of real life, or is it a simulation of a video game? Dream Triss is basically Spider-Gwen. Come on, is this a movie or a Mario Brothers level? Her mom looks surprisingly unburned for having been in the structure completely engulfed in flames for the last 3 minutes. Even in a simulation, this metal pipe should be burning her skin off completely at this point. Triss and her mom randomly jump off a crumbling piece of wall and land safely, because somehow. Even Kate Winslet looks pissed at this bullshit. Also included in the simulation is a realistic recreation of what it's like to hug your mom.
Candor, sim complete.
Whoa, wait, really? That's all she had to do was open up to her mom about not wanting to be Divergent anymore? That passed the test? I mean, really? It's during this Star Wars-inspired hallway escape shootout that I realized this movie has shown me nothing. Some imaginary bullshit, a crapload of run and hide while being chased, and a few predictable gotcha moments.
You are the sim.
So Triss is going to pass the Erudite portion of the sim here, but why does this fake 4 death take 30 seconds a time? It's neither real nor matters.
We've got a problem.
Subtle variation on a you better come take a look at this cliche. I just went through some shower.
Your mother's death, just like your boyfriend's death, will mean absolutely nothing.
After everything she's been through, Triss still lets herself be manipulated by unoriginal button pushing. Movie simulates what it's like to watch this movie.
No!
Movie is going to waste a lot of time trying to make us think Triss is dead.
First, I swiped a paralytic from the infirmary, and I shot her up when she was all freaking out about you.
Yeah, but she still went through the simulation, right? She still failed it, still got killed at the exact moment she fell into the streets of the fake city. How does a paralytic work under your precise timing standards and prevent the simulation death?
Want to survive? Make sure we do.
What? PG-13 movie just wasted its F-bomb on that? Seriously? That says more about these movies than I really think it oughta. This asshole was last known to be with the target, and is somehow allowed to just saunter back in and resume his station without so much as a what's up. And because of that oversight, he immediately goes to work helping the good guys. Does Janine run the sloppiest evil outfit ever, or what? Oh wow, that's amazing! You can simply take a prisoner and move him into the admin folder. That's ridiculously convenient. The computer doesn't even wonder why you're doing that either.
Tori finally found a way to get him out safely.
How many others?
Every last one.
We waited until everyone got them removed before telling you, our leader, about them. Also, how she got these things which wrap around the nearest major artery taken out is of no concern. Just know that she did it, and it probably involved unseen genies.
You're gonna fight her, the one you really hate.
The biggest obstacle hero faces is him or herself cliche. The only problem with anything goes universes is that bullshit like this happens, where the main character has to fight herself and the entire thing is so fake feeling that I missed the conclusion, because I was out in the lobby waiting for my date to finish watching the film and exit the auditorium.
I'm what they see when they look at you.
The people who made this simulation forgot to add realism. Who's going to think this is really happening when the whole goddamn floor gets knocked out after a single punch?
It's enough!
Doesn't this mean she fails the Amity test?
And no one will ever forgive you for what you've done.
Seriously, how is this test hard to pass? You know for a fact you're in a simulation. Fight between main character and herself is undercut of its dramatic weight by all the fakeness.
These will be the Divergent. They are the true purpose of this experiment.
Why did this simulation kill people who didn't do certain things right? Why can't it just fail the subject and not open the box?
No!
Factionless ex machina.
Evelyn?
Wait, her name is Evelyn? As in Evil Lynn? Or, just plain evil? Okay, I guess I can see where this is going. So, it was all set up? Now come outside the wall to learn the real truth? Man, I know it's an easy joke to compare the Maze Runner series to this one, but goddamn, I had no idea they were actually this similar. Jesus. Did the two authors compare notes while writing? How much you want to bet the outside the wall people aren't all they appear to be? People who've just been told they were guinea pigs in a big experiment now just willingly walk toward the wall like there's nothing left to distrust in the world. They're all like, what's that? My whole world is a lie? I can't wait to find out what's next. The most inspiring way to end this movie was, obviously, an incredibly fake-looking CGI sweep over a CGI landscape with little CGI people running below from off-screen dinosaurs or something. I'm so fucking uplifted right now.
Who knows what's out there? You'll never find out.
Naomi Watts shoots Kate Winslet. I'm pretty sure this is Australia getting back at England for something. Probably the prison colony thing.
Hello. I come from outside the wall.
This is a recording at the end of Insurgent, but it functions as narration here, so you can see the bind I'm in. Also, you might ask yourself, why are you doing Allegiant now? That came out in 2016. Get your together. And then you might tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, how did I get here? Just want to mention that the only reason why they're climbing this building is to get a good view of the wall and maybe make out. There are likely dozens of places they could do both those things, and it doesn't require climbing a bombed-out skyscraper. Pressing your partner's head against a jagged anything while making out.
Didn't take long. I made the same mistakes as Janine.
It also didn't take long for me to remember how much I detest teenagers making observations about the complexity of apocalyptic societal reconstruction.
I still think I can bring her around.
If you remember Insurgent like I don't, Ford vehemently distrusted his mother and didn't want Triss to work with her. Saying he still thinks he can bring her around implies dialogue and character development that does not exist, and the movie is doing a lazy job forcing us to fill in some foundational cracks right out of the gate.
I need you to get some things for me.
I figured I'd tell you this now at the checkpoint rather than way earlier.
I will not stop leading the pursuit of honesty.
And then the Jack character never appears in any scene for the rest of the movie.
Janine! Janine is dead!
Wow, this rowdy crowd went nearly dead silent immediately once Joanna started talking. It's almost like they know they're in a movie and need to be quiet or something. Unnecessary split diopter shot is unnecessary.
I don't want to die.
Neither did your sheep.
Damn it! Now that Mekhi Phifer is gone, this is no movie.
You know, it's Caleb's trial tomorrow.
Why tomorrow? It seems like they could have easily taken care of all the prisoners in one day, considering that all it takes is giving them truth serum and killing them if they admit to wrongdoing. But I guess that's good for the plot, since we know Caleb is going to get saved just before he's executed. Also, I wonder what clever way they'll come up with to get Caleb out of prison.
I'm gonna deal with this one. Do you think I'm asking your permission?
Oh. How is this place in the background so heavily guarded, but in the opposite direction nobody is watching?
All Erudite prisoners are supposed to be locked in the cages.
I can handle this one myself.
This convenient lower level 4 just pushed Caleb into makes me wonder what the plan would have been if it wasn't here. This mysterious grove appears to have been created exactly for this situation. Also, I don't know why the movie is pretending like Caleb is dead, like it's going to be some big surprise when he emerges alive. Everyone watching knows Caleb isn't dead. Sliding your piece into your pants aimed directly at your penis.
Get in the car.
Calling a tank a car.
You do have a plan, right?
The exact question I have for the movie creators during each film somehow makes its way into the biggest disappointment in the franchise.
Let me see your movement order.
Jesus Christ, dude, this is not the time for your toilet fetish.
I got everything. Just open the gate.
And just like that, the unresolved tension of Triss killing Will melts away. Oh, did you forget about Will? Yeah, the total lack of lines aimed at providing dimension for Christina's character will do that to you. Even though Maggie Q wasn't in the tank with them during their daring escape, here she is, hanging out with the crew like she's been here all along. Triss ordered Tori to get these grappling hooks, to which Tori said,
It's impossible.
Anyway, I'm glad the mission went well. I'm sure it was way more exciting than what we've seen so far, which is probably why it isn't in the movie.
Evelyn electrified the fence.
Oh, so are you saying she just had electric fence wiring ready to go after she took power? How long would it have taken to install that? This is a wall that completely surrounds the former Chicago. She found a way to electrify it that quickly? Or is the movie saying that the infrastructure for an electrified fence was already in place and they just flipped a switch? If so, why was it ever off? Somehow, Triss and 4 managed to execute a perfect plan without any communication, which forces me to ask why we need to hear them talk to each other for the rest of the movie. These assholes hang off the wall for a better view of the showdown below rather than getting involved or climbing for better coverage. Triss's bomb not only takes out one of the enemy trucks, but, as an unknown benefit, also destroys a wire leading to the electrical fence, solving nearly all their problems in the most tidy way possible. Everyone starts doing their tasks on the wall, but Triss, who forgets she can be shot and shifts into sightseeing mode.
We did it.
God damn it, Triss.
Come on, this way.
Says the guy that has never been on the other side of the wall and has no idea where he's going. I see 3 people with backpacks in this shot, and I'm wondering if they even thought they might need food that would last longer than a few days.
What happened here?
I have no idea. Considering from above, it looked like you had about a month-long walk to get through the green forest of the gorgeous rolling hills of paradise they showed us a minute ago. How are we supposed to forget what we saw 1 minute ago? Jesus.
This hole looks radioactive.
Which prompted me to search how can you tell if a hole is radioactive, which led to information about black holes, which led to quantum vacuum fluctuations, which led to a terrifying realization that particles briefly come in and out of existence, which reminded me about the dangers of transporters and that none of the characters in Star Trek are actually themselves anymore. Since everyone is acting really confused about this rain, I guess in this future storms magically avoid drifting from the devastated landscape to Chicago, because wind doesn't work that way.
This is fun. I'm glad we did this.
I'm sure this is sort of the point because Peter is an asshole, but he blackmailed these people so he could tag along. Not one person here calls him out on it. Unfortunately, everything in this movie looks like a giant green screen that rejected the visual effects they tried to key in. Rather than duck into the ravine, these idiots run into the unknown landscape on open ground while a gun-toting vehicle races after them. Did the sudden collapse of their faction system fracture their strategic military training? How are they so dumb? Deus Ex Machina, the movie.
Our plasma globes will protect you from the toxicity.
And also lift you into the air, attach you to the side of a flying machine, and protect you from the wind burn. How did you forget to mention those extra features? Also, they've been waiting for these assholes for God knows how long, and they couldn't even put them inside a ship. Here's some plasma globes. You ride on the outside, f***os.
We're gonna be okay.
God damn it, Triss.
Welcome to the Bureau of Genetic Welfare.
Ah, sudden Pennywise.
Please remove your clothes and place them in the incineration hatch.
I promise nothing will be recorded and shared with my buddies later. But, just so you know, I am watching attentively.
Place your feet on the mark.
Why the f*** didn't Triss and the others get an explanation of what was going to happen before they went through it? Yes, everything here is benevolent, but there's a creepy dude watching you get naked while you get thrown into a shrink-wrap shower that scares the f*** out of anyone who doesn't know what it is. Whole fun, holograms, the weird things that look futuristic and look like we took several steps back with visual media presentation at the same time.
Scientists first discovered a way to map,
then edit the human genome.
Pronouncing the word genome as if it's spelled genome.
What's an airport?
This asshole looked at a f***ing hole and assessed its radioactive history in seconds, but doesn't know what an airport is. Jesus f***ing crackers.
Our surveillance technology is centuries ahead of anything you've known in Chicago. They've grown up watching you.
They've watched Triss and 4 several times.
You have to forgive everyone for staring, but your arrival is the most exciting event some of us have ever known.
Aside from watching Triss and 4 several times. Also, you know what you're never going to see in this movie, even though they've explained that Triss and 4 are celebrities? Not one TV showing them what's going on in Chicago. Now, we do see Caleb doing surveillance there from this cubicle later, but nothing suggests that the entire population is watching.
Close.
Thanks.
You can put them on the way there. The clothes you're currently wearing, everyone will forget you had those on when you walk through that door. 4 runs up the stairs and outside without asking anyone one question, and somehow knows to look up to the sky to find Triss. Yes, he saw her go up this stairway, but after that, she could have gone anywhere. This boner beacon is strong. Also, let me be very clear, there is no way he sees her riding in the Cloud City hovervator, but movie lies to us and says that he can. Triss spotting 4 from here is also bullshit.
Oh, Triss, I know you. I watched you being born.
So far, the third movie in this series is half The Truman Show and half Gattaca, which were both written by Andrew Niccol. It even stars a guy who was in Gattaca. And I'd normally say there's no way a guy like that would do a movie like this, till I remembered he did that The Host, co-written by him and the Twilight author. Anyway, I am just bringing up the blatant ripoff of 2 other movies and still somehow give a backhanded compliment to someone who didn't even work on this movie, all from the comfort of my mom's basement. I paint red.
If we could rescue genetically damaged people from the toxic environment in the fringe and put them in a safe place like Chicago, then perhaps over time, man's genetic material would heal itself.
You guys are calling this an experiment? I don't see an independent variable here that you are manipulating to get a result. You're just dumping people in a city and your scientific process is hoping. Besides, has nobody ever heard of CRISPR? You'd think the gene technology would be super advanced 200 years from now to the point where turning off the dangerous asshole gene would be a simple process. I get it, it's science fiction. Let's let them have their futuristic problem that shouldn't be a problem, grumble. This compact mirror with stored memories is like the pensieve in Harry Potter. It's as if we've been dumped into the movie Dumb and Dumbledore.
They're your mother's memory tabs.
Triss knows that science can use tech to make reality be whatever they want it to be. She watched her faction turn into battle drones from the limited tech in Chicago. I don't understand how she trusts this tech to do anything other than harm her.
Do you trust him, David?
I trust her.
What's amazing to me is that Triss should be smart enough to know that her mom's memories could easily have been manipulated to look real. In the last movie, she went through a series of virtual reality tests that seemed real, but she was smart enough to know they weren't, which is why it's goddamn flabbergasting that she doesn't even consider that the memories she saw were faked. If this surveillance technology is so awesome, why does it have this many visual glitches? This terrible drone scans 4 and incorrectly identifies him as the movie Independence Day. Nita isn't immediately shot in self-defense in this scene. All this wonderful technology, and Caleb still has to run out of his cubicle to go tell people what he saw, rather than simply using a radio, phone, or email. They don't even give this motherfucker a messenger owl.
Caleb said that some of the Dauntless are lining up with Joanna, but the rest of Cantor is still solid with Evelyn.
First off, it's completely confusing to say part of this one group is joining one side, but the rest of some completely other group is joining the other side, and then just leave out the 3 other factions completely. Second off, the Dauntless are the ones who are brave, the trained fighters of the 5 factions. Candor is made up of a bunch of assholes who tell the truth all the time. Go ahead, pick which one you think has the edge.
You know, when were you going to tell me?
I just realized that the previous 2 movies left out the lover's third act conflict cliche and have likely saved it all up for this movie. Yay? I can't decide if I'm annoyed or relieved that these bowls are distractingly full in one shot and easily ignored and empty in the next, because now I'm hyper-focused on the kale. And you know it's kale because kale doesn't give a f***. It will survive a toxic apocalyptic wasteland.
Next time you go to the Fringe, I want in.
You're not ready.
I'm going.
This works.
Everything's fine.
Turns out that everything between 4 and Triss is actually fine, which makes this quiet tension-building scene all the more useless to the plot of the movie. Holy shit, Zoe Kravitz is in this movie. Also, just a minute ago, 4 had to ask about tagging along on a Fringe mission and was turned down because they didn't believe he was ready. After he replied, "No, I am so going," they let him go. But I'm wondering if Christina had to insist on going as well. If 4 isn't ready to go on a mission, then she definitely isn't. The last 2 movies have been any indication about their skills at all.
Dauntless! If it was up to me, you would not be out here.
Who the f*** is it up to then? We've seen 2 people in the power structure and neither of them can apparently override a simple "I'm going."
I know you think it was tough in Chicago, but this is the Fringe. Understood?
Oh no, is it even worse than the Scorch? Movie immediately undermines the radical handiness of the drone by having 4 simply look over and see something with his own eyes. Whee! 2016 was really overconfident when they assumed people wanted to see scene after scene of a drone puck flying through the air, weren't they? God damn. Sign this kid up for the nearest Major League Baseball team. Oh, baseball isn't a thing anymore? It's the apocalypse? Well, how long does the apocalypse last anyway? Yeah, but the Yankees were still a thing in Interstellar, giving the role of comforting parent figure to the female actor that has nothing better to do in this entire fucking movie. All of us who were so bored with the political chatter that we begged the movie gods for an action sequence because our prayers were heard, and now we spend the next 5 minutes watching children kidnapped and memory wiped. Neat.
Get us ready for Providence. We're on my ship within an hour.
It's really fucking weird that the director of this place had to walk all the way down to the living quarters to give this order. Why wouldn't he be able to just call for a ship and have it ready somewhere near his lofty office space? In fact, later on, that's exactly what we see. The fucking was this scene?
David takes them out from here, wipes their memories with the gas, and raises them in the bureau.
Haha, what? What for? I mean, if the point is to find more pure divergence like Triss, what the is Chicago all about then? Who's taking care of all these kids anyway? The drama is definitely now amped up to its highest levels, so it's time for 4 to take a shower and turn around with a purpose to the camera to show he means business, and to show his business, maybe. Anyway, this is serious, very serious. I shouldn't joke about either of his businesses.
They were all unarmed.
When the did this happen? I know there's a war going on in Chicago, but the movie hasn't really shown us any of it. I guess they wanted to show it, but because the producers ran out of time in one of those machines where you have to catch the dollar bills blowing around in the air, they couldn't secure the funding.
Today we take Evelyn down.
Ooh, time to watch some strategic military stuff.
Whatever it takes.
Wait, that's it? That's the plan? Just hand a bunch of guns to the people that didn't like to execute war criminals a few days ago and then kill them all whatever it takes style? I'm really beginning to side with David here. The damaged are maybe too dangerous for their own good.
Central elevator's been compromised.
Wild to think that the highly advanced technology of this future can't reverse an elevator's direction or simply stop it from moving altogether.
Theo James is Staring Intently Upward, the new film from ChatGPT and the T-1000.
Dude, get your hand off your girlfriend's throat. Oh, thanks.
I have to go.
I think everyone was instructed to just say the absolute most basic line and then stare strongly at their counterpart. You know, let the audience fill in the blanks a bit on what they could be feeling or thinking. Certainly having the character say anything with depth isn't a good idea for the dumb people watching. Just all of us. We are all dumb for watching this.
If 4 doesn't see that, it's not your fault.
Triss doesn't immediately realize that 4's lack of understanding about David and her work is fully her fault, considering she hasn't done shit to explain anything to anyone this entire movie.
David never wanted you to see what you saw out on the fringe. He keeps tight control. Nothing happens without his approval.
So why was 4 able to go on that mission earlier then? If you're saying that David was the one who allowed 4 to go on the mission, then don't preface it by saying David never wanted you to see the thing that you saw. They could have done anything they wanted to 4 here to prevent him from fighting back. They could have cuffed and gagged him, and that would not only have prevented him from fighting back, but prevented him from doing the Atreides voice. Also, I know what you're thinking. They wanted to stage something to make it look like 4 needed to be killed, but these people answer to no one, basically. They have their own set of rules. It's not like the world's greatest detective is going to come out here and solve the case. They could have killed him in David's office if they wanted. Motherfucker took someone hostage and hijacked the elevator, for Christ's sake. Movie thinks that just because I see 4 grabbing onto this cargo netting that I will completely forgive it once he survives this giant crash.
Welcome to Providence.
Rhode Island. Okay, Triss, the council meets here in this misshapen Cadbury egg in the middle of the water held up by 2 giant skis. It's not weird. You're weird. Anyway, let's go see the bosses. Can't wait for this movie to finally get to who the real bad guys are. Faction to fringe to bureau to council, we get it. None of these societies are great. Pick one to adapt to and let's end this story already.
Human beings cannot be categorized in this way. And maybe it's time to start embracing everyone instead of dividing them into groups.
So there's the rub. This is the trilogy's thesis. If it wasn't obvious from the moment you heard about the 5 factions in the first movie, we didn't need to sit through 3, almost 4 movies plus the 4 Hunger Games and the 3 Maze Runners to get to this point. Besides, if there wasn't a council dividing people into factions, there would still be Mean Girls. Also, it's pretty stunning that David didn't prep Triss for this meeting. Did he really think the council wouldn't ask to speak with her? This is a 200-year experiment where they've been looking for divergence and she's the only one. And he doesn't think of a contingency plan in case Triss says something that fucks everything up?
He's only here to extend his funding.
Movies do this weird thing with surprise villains where everything about them is supposed to put the main character at ease, but once the sinister reveal happens, you wonder why he didn't just gas Triss at the very beginning and brainwash her to say whatever he wanted so he'd get his funding.
The factions work, Triss. They keep the peace. They created you.
how? Triss has specific DNA that makes her pure, which means the combination of her genetic line led to her existence, not a political governing body.
You want change with no sacrifice. You want peace with no struggle.
Either David never really watched Triss sacrifice herself for peace and struggle through all that she lost, or the movie makers figured we'd forget the first two films, which I did forget and had to rewatch to make any of this make sense, so f*** you franchise for wasting my time more than once and contradicting yourself.
You don't know what he's capable of.
And thanks to the total lack of interest to explore David's darkness in lieu of extended staring scenes and drone footage throughout the movie, neither do we. The movie has reached its most famous sequence, 18 seconds of walking. I'm not over it yet. These two were hanging on to cargo netting to secure their bodies when they crashed. They had no protective gear on. They are not superhumans. They shouldn't be able to walk, talk, or breathe. Stupid science fiction orb has to come out of the camo wall to scan a card, which is just f***ing dumb. Remember when they got here? They got these Mark of the Beast tattoos that they've been using to access parts of the building depending on whether they are pure or damaged. Why the f*** do they need to make cards when they have such a foolproof system with the tattoos?
Ford would never leave anyone behind at the crash site.
He told me you would say that.
Well, actually, Keith from Barbarian, he told you that she would know you were lying. He didn't say shit about what she might say. Oh, did I nitpick? Did I hurt the precious little movie? Does the movie need to see a script doctor? Yes. Yes, it does.
Come on, Ford, where are you?
Looking at Caleb's display, how are you supposed to find anyone on this map? The streets of Chicago look abandoned, and the display doesn't appear to be showing people at all. Plus, again, I'll bring up that tattoo. It's ludicrous to have technology as sophisticated as this, and it can't find one of those scanner tattoos almost instantly. Holy shit, Zoe Kravitz is in this movie. Caleb finds Floor and assures Triss that he's all right, but then shows her footage of him being beaten unconscious. I love how the screen starts bubbling like someone lit a match under the film's emulsion, indicating to you that you're watching Caleb's stupid virtual reality display. Yet the movie still feels the need to let Triss photobomb the scene like Ebenezer Scrooge, as if it's not confident that you know how this works.
Make sure he gets a good dose.
Apparently, they give him a dose that is super potent, since we see him tripping balls after they gas him. Why do we see this instead of just going straight to the amnesia part?
Why would David support Evelyn? Doesn't make any sense.
None of this makes sense. And suddenly this movie has given me an appreciation for the exposition via PowerPoint presentation cliche. This is the second time today that people have taken Ford prisoner and they haven't done shit to secure him.
Get Christina and meet me outside.
Just anywhere outside will do. A non-specific, general sort of outside, you know, for clarity.
Triss, you need to forget about Chicago.
If only there was some sort of serum that could assist with that.
Autopilot engaged.
Pretty neat that the autopilot knows to go to the tarmac to pick up a few buddies before continuing on with their destination.
Triss Pryor is stealing my craft. Bring her back.
Oh, so there is a communication system other than walking all over the building until you find the person you want to talk to around here.
These are for you and Triss. How'd you know we were leaving? You're not the only ones who hate David.
That doesn't answer the question at all. I would like to remind everyone that there is nothing strapping Christina down here, and because Christina told Caleb not to touch her, he's not holding her back either. So how the f*** is she not falling into the windshield at this point?
Hold on!
I know Triss is Divergent, but that doesn't mean able to perform this maneuver in a ship she's never piloted in her life. The f***? Did they just enter the Guggenheim?
Hey, whoa, hey, what are you doing?
Levity. Earlier in the movie, some asshole kid threw a rock with deadly accuracy at these things. These guys have guns and don't even try to shoot them. You might be wondering how Four acquired a wristband that can open his prison door. Well, he tossed this dude on the ground and in a blink and you'll miss it moment, quickly grabbed the wristband. But right after he grabs it, he's picked up by two other guys and has no chance to pocket it. Then he gets knocked the f*** out. He somehow didn't drop it and no one noticed it in his hand when they dragged him back into his cell. Skip.
Now, if you press that button, no one else will ever know what happened to them.
The movie doesn't provide viewers with a button to erase this entire series from our brains.
Evelyn, you have to stop this right now.
No worries, the serum was at 87.4 and now it's lowered to 80.2. The movie's taking care of the tension for you. Okay, what are these things? They're like little fans inside cylinders attached to buildings that are somehow connected to a pipeline that leads back to headquarters? What exactly were these for before this? Remember back at the beginning of this movie when Triss and Four were admiring the view? I don't think I see those fans on any of those buildings.
There's a choke point where the vapor gets pumped out.
Cut their comm line to the ship.
If you can cut the comm line to their ship, then you should be able to autopilot this bullshit back to your office. And why would you ever have something set up here where you could cut off the director's ship's comm line remotely? Amazing how the orange gas inside the building conveniently settles on the floor and never drifts up, giving the heroes time to work out how to fix the problem.
Triss, look at this. It's really smart. So they ran the pipe into the air duct.
They fucking ran what through the fucking what? When did they have time to do that? What's hilarious is Triss interrupts him before he can finish because even the movie knows that's a stupid explanation. Triss is about to run down into the air ducts to find the thing that's blowing up all the gas in. everywhere, and all I can think about is how the orange gas was coming up through these very grates when Rooster Bradshaw was in here a minute ago. How the f*** did they explain the gas suddenly setting up a perimeter around the walls now? And how is there no gas down in these tunnels she's about to run through?
Triss, I control everything.
David makes for a really shitty Joker, and even shittier Killing Joke cosplayer.
I can even steal the room you're in right now.
David suddenly has powers that he, quite frankly, should have been using from the beginning.
Serum release halted.
How's that for damage?
You.
It's clear.
I mean, where the f were these people that was so safe? If you put orange gas in the air ducts, why was this building so protected?
I'm here to reveal the truth.
In a few weeks, Chicago has seen Janine, a founder, Evelyn, and now Triss up there on screen. How anyone would trust anything coming out of anyone's mouth is beyond me.
I've set the autopilot right for our friend's neighborhood, along with a little surprise for when it goes through the camouflage wall.
David still somehow can't control his own ship, even though he had control of everything, including a whole building, from the comfort of his office earlier. Also, it's really weird that Caleb decided to repair the windshield before sending it back with their bomb, right? Like, it seems like a lot of wasted effort. Teenagers, man. I honestly have no clue what this explosion means. Did they blow up the O'Hare airport and all those innocent orphans? Was it a camo wall? What actually exploded here? When it cuts back to Whiplash, we see some debris crashing to the ground, but nothing that tells us what they actually blew up. At the end of the movie, we see Jeff Daniels behind her like some sort of ghost of Christmas past creeper, which means the movie thought it was going to get a 4th chapter. They were going to call it Ascendant, but they should have called it The Descendants. Wait.
I'm using your unfinished novel!
Burger.
They call it Divergent.
It's a condition of mental divergence. I find myself on the planet Ogo, part of an intellectual elite.
Gryffindor! Slytherin!
It's not a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin.
The first lesson you learn from me.
You do not talk about Fight Club.
And then there's Dauntless.
Oh, the Dauntless is the power in these waters, true enough.
Dauntless, never give up.
Never give up. Never surrender.
My whole body was covered in these little insects. They were in my ears and in my throat. I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, they were nice. You know, when you grab a woman's breast, it feels like a bag of sand.
See, Katniss, the way the whole friend thing works is you have to tell each other the deep stuff.
The deep stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, like what?
Like, what's your favorite color?
When I've stepped over the line.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
You can sugarcoat it. Nothing is too messed up that can't be fixed with a Peter Gabriel song. I like that version as much as the next girl does.
The whole thing?
Yes, this whole thing.
Oh, man.
Even though you had freaking cancer, you're willing to give money to a corporation for the chance to acquire even more cancer?
All my secrets.
May the truth set you free. And the truth shall set you free!
What do you do, Jack? Huh? What do you do? You're so smart, right, Jack? I'm the guy with the plan, because I'm smarter than you. I'm smarter than you.
Marlene. Her name was Marlene.
His name is Robert Paulson.
His name is Robert Paulson.
But I am serving the greater good.
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
You can defeat me, Scott. But can you defeat yourself?
Nigga Scott.
Divergent, 100%.
I'll be damned.
Well, I don't know that I believe anyone's 100% a dick, man.
We all knew Operation Playtime was a long shot.
We're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay! Say the goddamn words! You're gonna be okay!
Sorry, Goose, but it's time to buzz the tower.
Welcome to your new home.
Welcome to the Rock.
You must be the director.
I'm the director of NASA. I watched you being born.
I was watching when you took your first step. I watched you on your first day of school. The episode when you lost your first tooth.
You see these scars?
My father was a drinker and a fiend.
2 minutes to drop. It's all right to be scared. Remember, there's no courage without fear.
This is not the way.
Let her speak, David.
Look what you did, you little jerk!
Hello, Peter. What's happening?
You could be an axe murderer.
There's always that possibility.
You're right, David. It is over.